PCOS. What is it and how does it affect a woman? Today I'm going to be talking to my niece Kristiana, who has PCOS, and she's going to tell you her story about how she came to find out about her having PCOS and how it affected her life. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my niece Christy. Christy, how are you today?
Hey Norm, doing okay. Like you said, polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, is when you get cysts on your ovaries and it messes with your hormones. It can make it hard to conceive. It can make your periods irregular. It can actually make you borderline diabetic. It can cause hair growth, like a beard. It can give you acne. It can make it hard to lose weight. You can have rapid weight gain. Mostly you get pills to help with keeping your sugar in check and keeping the hair growth down. You can get hormone treatments to help you conceive, but I found out when I was 22, was told there was a 0.002% chance I would ever have kids of my own, which completely devastated me because I love kids. I worked at a daycare. You know, I had a nephew at the time, and I had always wanted to be a mom. I think the hardest part is, you know, people still don't know a lot about it. It's still under, like, investigation. They're still trying to learn about it, better treatments, how to maybe predict when it's going to happen, who it's going to happen to. When I was diagnosed, I had to look it up. I had no idea what it was. I was just told I had something.
So how did you react, and what were your first feelings that you had when you found out, and how did you cope with finding out that you had PCOS?
My reaction came in stages. First, I remember looking at Mom, because Mom was with me, and asking why. What did I do that was so wrong that God decided I couldn't have kids? And it took years to understand that there was nothing I did, nothing that I could do to change it, nothing I could do to make it better, nothing I could do to make it worse. Then it was acceptance that I would just be the person that would love everybody else's kids. That I couldn't have my own, but I could give my love. In 2015, my sister Bethany got pregnant, and it turned into anger because she was doing something I couldn't do, and I had to see her every day. And we actually fought because I felt like she was like rubbing at my face, even though she wasn't. It's just how it seemed to me. And I wasn't really mad at her. I just still couldn't grasp why. Why me? And it still took getting used to, not only for me, but like my family. I was tired. I was so emotional. I didn't feel like doing anything. The end of the fight was me apologizing to my sister because I wasn't mad at her, laying in her lap crying because it just wasn't fair. And that's what I said over and over again. It's just not fair.
My wife and I were in a similar situation, as biologically we were struggling to have children as well. And it just seemed like everybody around you were having children, friends, family, people at church, people at work. I mean, just seemed like everybody was having a baby. And when you want a baby so bad and that's all you can think about, it hurts. Even though you're happy for them, it does. It still hurts, and in your mind, you're so mad, and you do have bad thoughts about them sometimes, even though you know you're in the wrong. And we had to go back and apologize and do the same things that Christy talked about. So I can totally relate to what she went through, and so can my wife. So we decided to adopt. We have 2 children right now, and adoption was, as hard as it was, which I'll get into in another video, it was wonderful for us. And we couldn't be happier with our 2 children. So that's how we handled the situation. So I'm going to go back to Christy and let her go and tell her story about how she handled the situation.
I finally came to terms with the fact that it maybe wasn't in the cards for me. I continued working at the daycare at the school until the school closed because we weren't getting enough kids. I helped take care of my nephews and just basically thought, if it's meant to be, it'll happen, and it's going to happen when I least expect it. At the time, me and my husband, at that time, didn't have money to adopt and do all the fertility stuff, so I just kind of accepted the fact that I would be more or less like my dad's brother and his wife and just spoil the nephews. And sometimes even that was hard because so many people just kept telling me when it happens, it'll be, amazing. And me and my husband ended up divorcing, and people then kept saying, well, when you find the right one, it'll just happen. He wasn't right for you. And it was just hard to take. So like I said, 2015 was a big year. My sister got pregnant. I filed for divorce. I met the man that I'm with now. 2016, I decided I was going to take control of some things. Started working out. I lost almost 100 pounds, even if it took me a year. In the early spring, late winter months, so somewhere around March, February, I started talking to Amy and asking her questions about missed periods, how she was affected by it, because I missed one. And something felt different than normal. So Amy convinced me to take a pregnancy test, and I already had one at the house because in August of 2016 we thought maybe, and it was negative, like so many were before it. So I took the pregnancy test after Chris had went to work the next day. I had been talking to her, and it came positive. And it was a very faint positive. So I sent the picture to her and my nephew's mother, asking if it looked positive to them, and they said yes. I texted Chris, and he said to go get more. So I took 6 different tests, 2 of which were digital, and they all said I was pregnant. Went to the doctor, and they confirmed. So in 2017, I found out I was pregnant with my first child.
So through all this, you and Amy became friends because she understood the struggles you were going through, since she and I went through the same struggles when we were trying to have children. So when she told me, she was thrilled, just as if we were having our own. So can you tell me how important it was to have somebody to talk to and to encourage you to keep going on? And how happy were you and Chris when you found out? And how happy and how did other people react when they found out that you were pregnant?
So first, it was wonderful having someone like Amy who has kind of went through it, knows a little bit more about it, rather than talking to somebody who has never been through it and has only heard about it or seen what they've Googled or, read the papers that I gave them. It was much easier to talk to someone who's actually been through it. And then I think, naturally, I was way more excited than Chris was. Being a guy not fully understanding how amazing it was that, everybody was telling me no, and here there was a baby. I was pregnant, and, my mom was happy. She was getting another grandkid. My grandmother, who I was the most scared to tell because she's the most Christian person you'll ever meet, and I was having a baby out of wedlock, was ecstatic. She cried when I told her because she knew how hard it had been. Not only physically, but emotionally. So then, December 7th of 2017, I had a healthy 8-pound, 11-ounce boy. And he turns 3 this year. And I couldn't be more happier. He's full of energy and just amazing. I don't know what else to say about him. He gets on my nerves sometimes, but I love him. So this video wasn't just to say this girl had a heart problem and once upon a time, and then she had a baby. Ta-da, the end. This is just to show you that no matter what anybody says, whether it be something medical or anything, any hardship you're going up against, if somebody tells you no, if a doctor tells you no, if a parent tells you no, if it's your dream, if it's your passion, then no is not a life sentence. And things will happen. You've got to push through all the negativity and just keep a positive outlook about it. It might not happen when you want it to happen, but if it's going to happen and it's meant to happen, then it will happen for you. And you've got to stay positive.
So, Christy, thank you for sharing your experience and your story. And I hope that anybody who watches this finds this encouraging. If you're experiencing something like this or have in the past, please leave a comment below. And if you are experiencing this, please reach out to us. I'm sure Christy would be willing to talk to you, or my wife, to help you through this. And if you know anybody else, please share this. Please like this video. It really helps the channel. And subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you found this very helpful. We're also going to be going into some other videos with Christy about her second child. And we'll get into what she did. She found out her second child actually had Down syndrome. So we're going to be talking about that in the near future. So please rate, share, subscribe, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good day.